Do you have a brilliant startup idea? Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
Welcome back to On The Cusp. I've got Matt Snyder back with me.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, and this time we got Kimerea Walker from Eagle Industries.
Absolutely.
And we've worked together at EAP.
We have.
Okay. So what is Eagle Industries?
Eagle Industries is a woman-owned business.
Okay.
Based here in Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm a legacy. My grandfather was the first African-American man that owned a bank here and also a scrapyard. He was called the trash man here locally.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
So he owned, so it's now a church right there at the corner of Ford and it's right there by J.S. Clark. I can't remember the other street. I think it's Ford and Hearn.
Okay.
But that used to be his bank. So I'm a legacy.
Yeah,
How
legacy
cool.
business owner.
Yeah.
And what does Eagle do?
We're a construction company, and we have 3 specialties. So I am a asbestos contractor supervisor, and we do water restoration and also pesticide, herbicide.
Wow. Now talk to me about asbestos. So you're the literal contractor that supervises that asbestos removal?
Right. So it is a specialty that is, of course, governed by DEQ, but we do abatements. I believe I am the only woman here that is certified in this. Now, there's many people that are, but I am the only minority and woman here that do what I do.
Right.
And that's a serious problem when you get a building and you got to get it handled.
Right, absolutely. It's a very tedious project. It's definitely not easy. I look cute now, but when I'm in the field, it's something totally different. However, I can do it.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I bet you, how do you decide to get into this?
Well,
Water mitigation, asbestos. When I meet you, that's the last thing I thought you were going to tell me you were into.
Right. So, funny about my background, I'm actually a chemist. So I went to inorganic and organic things are my thing. I like the ugly side of pretty things.
Oh, I love that.
So I just have a different eye for a lot of different things or whatnot. And so it's my professor in college always told me, he was just like, Kimerea, you just think you're totally on a different scale. You think different. You see things different. And, that's okay. But you're going to be powerful in the industry. Yeah.
So you took your chemistry degree.
Right.
You came back and you went into the construction business.
Right.
And you're doing it here in Northwest Louisiana. A lot of people say Shreveport's a tough place to do business. Okay. Would you agree?
Yeah. Only because, it's a fun place to do business. Okay, I'll say that. It's a fun place, and it's always fun when you're the only woman standing in a male-predominant field.
I like that.
Whoa,
It's a fun place,
Well,
right?
I can assure you, I've known you for a while, and there's no way you're not standing out in that group.
Absolutely. And of course, they look as well because I come like this, and I'm sure they're going, how? What?
Yeah. You're not wearing your steel-toed boots and
so sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not, It just depends on how I feel that day, but of course it's always interesting. And then the fun part for me is the conversation and when I can converse on their level, and just let men, let other men know that we collectively can have this space together. We kind of the anchor.
That's awesome.
We kind of the anchor of me,
Well, what made you go? Now, obviously, you got out with your, degree in chemistry and you went to work. What led you into launching your own business?
Well, it definitely was a transition. I always tell people that the entrepreneurship world, I believe, just chose me. I was a local pharma chemist here at a local company that closed down. And I pretty much, like I said, I'm a legacy piece, and I have, my grandfather's blood just runs really, really deep. And it just got more and more interesting to me as time just went on, honestly. And the question became, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
That's
real.
Why am I not? Why am I not using my talents where I know I can and that it can benefit everybody, my city, myself, my community. He also was a veteran. And then in my business, I started a reentry program where I help, like most of the guys that work for me are disabled vets. It's the vets and the incarcerated. So I'm trying to build a whole plan and help clean up the street, get people, employed, get specialties.
Yeah.
Just trying to knocking out.
So you leverage the state system that comes to you and says, "Hey, we have somebody that's fixing to, get out of incarceration,"
Right.
And you employ them and give them an opportunity
Right.
to start work right when they get out.
Right. Second chance.
Second chance
Yep.
is what that's called.
Yep.
That's right. That's the name
Yeah,
of the
it's Second Chance.
program.
And so-
has that worked well for you? Are you able to retain them?
Yeah, we're able to retain them. We're able to return them to families. Some people haven't seen their children. Some people, every decision that was made that got them there wasn't necessarily a bad decision, and they're
Right.
going to stay on that. They're not going to be a product of that, product of that for the rest of their life. And somebody had to believe. And so, just like I said before, women are the nurturers and anchors of men. Sometimes don't you ask?
Yeah.
Hey, what's my date of birth?
Yeah.
You're the doctor.
Definitely for all my children.
Right.
Okay.
Wait. What's this? What's that? And so, the nurture, and that's what my grandparents were. My grandfather was. He gave that he poured that type of energy back into the community. And I'm like, I remember sitting with him when I was a little girl, and that's how I started drinking coffee, because he used to pour me a little bit in the cup and then sit there, and I just used to listen to him. And all of that just started resonating back.
That is
to
the
today.
beauty of local business owners.
Yeah.
I deal exclusively with local business owners as my business. And you talk to them, and they have a responsibility, and they know it to help our community.
Yeah.
And that is what, when I beat up on Dallas all the time. Because I go to Dallas and Dallas has no culture.
Right.
Their culture is there's a lot of money flying around and we're going to have new stuff.
It's just Texas.
But nobody takes care of each other. It's moving too big, too fast to take care. We feel that in Shreveport. That's one of my favorite things about
it is.
Shreveport.
Definitely, for sure.
All different. That crosses over men, women, every different group. There's a responsibility that I'm going to do business here, but I'm also going to keep this community going.
Yeah, we're definitely better together.
Definitely. So, one of the questions we always ask, our entrepreneurs is about the permitting process. Whether it's city, state, like that. Obviously, in your business, you got to have a permit. What would you say about that permitting system? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Where's it going?
The permitting system is fine. Well, and also too, in construction, Louisiana does require a lot of licensing. You just have to buckle down. You have to buckle down. You have to study. It's not going to be given. You have to be, and it's not for the weak, for sure.
Some of that's good though, because
Yeah.
you don't want every.
No.
Absolutely.
I always tell people
There are regulations there for a reason.
there are regulations there for a reason. You don't want everyone, just like if you were a physician. You
That's
wouldn't,
right.
You wouldn't, it's the same spec. So
Right.
With
You-
asbestos and pest
It's
control and
serious
chemicals,
stuff.
that's serious
Yes.
stuff. You don't
Right.
want just any.
right, and I'm big on safety. They might get tired of me, but I'm big on safety.
Well, yeah, in your business, safety's
Yeah, safety's number one.
absolutely. So you made the decision based upon the background. You want to go into, have your own business, and keep the family legacy going on that. What about Shreveport? Do you have a hard time, finding employees in Shreveport? Because everybody says, there's a labor shortage.
Everybody is in the labor shortage attack. I tell people all the time, some days you can go to, I'll use McDonald's, and you have a full staff, and then you'll go the next day it's closed because they only have enough for a drive-through. But there is definitely a hard spot in business, and I think everybody's affected by it. But I believe there will be a turning point, because again, that's why we have that program, because there are a lot of people that need that second chance. They may
Yes.
not have,
Yeah.
they may not have that background that on the requirements from, when you look at a job and these are the requirements, and then here we go to the backgrounds, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes some people in the wrong place, wrong time. You just do not know.
Somebody has to be working from that level to get these people back to a level where they can go get these jobs. I mean, we've had Randy from Career Adventures, and I work with them, and they have a lot of people coming in that are looking for work that won't work.
Right.
And if nobody's gonna take a chance like you're doing, well, then we can't say, aren't people out there. We have people looking for work.
I believe there are.
Yeah, there are people looking for work. Like I said, they just need that chance, and you'll be surprised that it was a licensing issue. Oh, there was a fine somewhere, And so what I'll do is we'll pay the fine, help you get the license, and we'll just take the money back out of your check, just to kind of help with the and just to spread it out over time, so you're already in a hardship.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't afford to, the key is to care.
Yeah.
The key is to care, and the key is to just you'll be surprised. They're probably more scared of me than they're scared of the warden. They're like, Miss Kim. As soon as I call, Miss Kim, they call Miss Kim. Miss Kim, I'm like, I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, but it's all out of love, and it's all out of tough love,
Mm-hmm.
but they know, and I bring them together, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I do what I can. We come together as a family, like, just like any other company would, like a Christmas dinner, et cetera. And that's what we do, and that's what they need. That's
How
what
many
they need
employees do you have right now?
12.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That is like that size coming when the company's growing, but it hadn't got huge.
Right.
That's a special time.
That
in
is.
business.
Right,
Absolutely.
it is. And we're so tight knit, and then I also teach them to look out for each other. And so once you start building that, you start building a community.
That's awesome.
And so the belief they have in me, like, Miss Kim, I know we're gonna be even bigger one day. And so that's all they need is hope.
I hear about asbestos way more than you would think you would hear about asbestos in 2026.
There's a lot more out there than you realize.
Right.
Every project, downtown especially, it's like, oh, guys, so, man, I don't think you're in for any shortage of work for a long time.
Right.
And that.
Well, with all the construction going on around town and the renovation, because you never know. You show up in a place and your foreman goes, well, it's asbestos tile.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Run into that a lot.
Yeah, and you got to do something. You can't leave it. And if you break one tile, you're going down that path.
You didn't open up a whole deal, and that's why safety is important, because of those projects I take extremely seriously, because we will return how we came, and that's a microfiber that can have that can show up years from now, and it can be harmful to your health. So. We take those situations very seriously.
Yeah, it's been a pretty dry year. Have you had many water restoration?
No, I need some pipes to break. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, this might be the weekend.
You're about to be on fire.
Hey, listen.
Yeah. Well, this might be the weekend for that, right? Because this episode won't come out for a couple of weeks, but this is the first big freeze of the year.
Yeah.
And,
Me and Dave had some freeze history. I was thinking driving here today, the last big ice storm, we were supposed to film that day.
Oh, really?
And none of the cell phones were working, so I drove out thinking it wasn't that bad, and I got to where I called Dave. I said, I don't think we're making it.
You don't think you're making it?
We didn't.
I know, right?
We did not make that.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. Best of luck. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Good deal.
Thank you.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.